Hey, thanks for making it to Veterans Info Tap. I'm glad you made it. Hey, did you miss out on the August 14th deadline for the PACT Act? Well, that sucks, but you didn't miss out on all the PACT Act benefits. Now, the real benefits in the PACT Act are all of the presumptive conditions that are listed in there for Gulf War, post 9/11, Agent Orange exposure, and so forth. The conditions being deemed presumptive is a big deal. It makes it very easy for you as the veteran or you as the surviving spouse or dependent or parent of a veteran who has passed away who qualifies for dependency indemnity compensation to be able to file that claim and get it approved if the cause of death were due to or the cause of death was had a contributing cause as one of those conditions. So I've done many videos on dependency indemnity compensation. If you haven't watched any of those, please do so you can get enlightened on that process and program. What I wanted to talk about was presumptive conditions and what it really means, because that is the true benefit of the PACT Act. Now, getting that additional back pay for an additional 12 months was another benefit that was really big, and if you missed it, you missed it. Hopefully, you filed an intent to file yesterday or the day before or any time after the president signed the PACT Act into law, and then that would preserve for you that extended back pay back to August 2022. So moving forward, hit the thumbs up for me, subscribe, share with a friend, all that good stuff. I really appreciate it. It helps the channel and it helps to get the word out to everyone. So there's two different types of, well, there's all kinds of nuance in VA. There's two main types of ways that you will file a claim with the VA. I'm not going to talk about secondaries or filing for increases or anything like that. You're just initial claim. So there's two primary ways that you're going to file for your claim. You're going to file for service connection for your claim, either kind of the standard way, or you're going to utilize a presumptive lane within the VA for your claimed condition. So the normal way, and I need to explain the normal way so you can understand the power of the presumptive, which is the second way that I'll describe. So the first way, when you go to file anything with the VA, you are, if you're not a presumptive, right? So if you're going to file something with the VA, you need to have what I talk about is kind of three main things to file that claim to have it be successful. The first is you need to prove that you are a veteran who is eligible for VA disability compensation. So that you don't have a dishonorable discharge, you're going to need to file your DD-214 to show that you've served and that you have a qualifying discharge from the military in which you served, whatever branch. So now you're in as far as that piece is concerned. Now you have the second condition. The second piece that you need to provide is a diagnosis. Many times, veterans think that the VA will help provide them with the diagnosis. They will actually provide a medical examiner to examine them and provide the diagnosis and say, yep, that is definitely because of your time in service. 99.9999% of the time, the VA is not going to do anything like that for you anywhere along the process. There are little times where something like that does happen if they catch something along the way. But most of the time, that is not going to happen for you. So you, as the veteran, need to supply the VA with a diagnosis from a doctor for your condition. Now, your condition must be chronic in nature or have residual effects, okay? Meaning that it's some sort of an ongoing problem for you. Now, if they want to prescribe you medication, you want to provide that information as well. It just helps to validate your diagnosis and shows the severity with that prescription. So that's the second piece. The third piece or third hurdle to get over, and this is a big one for many veterans, is proving that the condition either manifested during your time in service or was caused by your time in service, or there was some sort of an in-service event that may have occurred that caused this condition, or you had some sort of an exposure that caused this condition. Somehow, some way, you need to tie your current diagnosed condition back to your time in service. Now, the easiest way for this to be proven is if, while you were in service, you went and got diagnosed for X. Most of the time that does not happen. Most of the time we don't go get diagnosed for anything. Now, you may have gotten injured and you may have that injury documented, and that would be good information to supply as your nexus. So, again, the nexus is the link between the condition and your time in service. Now, once you get out and you don't have anything in your medical records, not even a mention of it, then you'll need to actually try to build a bridge back to your time in service. You might need to get a nexus letter from your doctor. You might need to get buddy statements from people that knew you when you were in, attesting to knowing you had really bad problems sleeping and you would snore and you had all these horrific problems, and that could help you develop your nexus for your sleep apnea claim. Or maybe they witnessed you with major migraines and they wrote a letter attesting to that. Or maybe they saw you with battling, horrendous bouts of GERD, right? The gastroesophageal reflux disease, bad heartburn, right? So there's many different things that you could do to try to build that bridge back to your time in service. Now, does it always work? Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes the VA doesn't rule in your favor, and it makes it really difficult and hard to deal with. Now, the beauty of a presumptive is it eliminates the need for a nexus. That means that you do not need to prove that your diagnosed condition, if on the presumptive list, so the VA will give you a list of conditions that they deem presumptive. Some are cancers and stuff like that. Some are other illnesses or diseases, but there'll be a list of different conditions. And if you have one of those conditions and you served in an area outlined for that specific condition or those list of conditions, if you meet those two requirements, you served in an area designated for these presumptive conditions, all you need to do is prove those two things. Instead of three things, now you just need to prove I served in this area and I have this condition that's on the presumptive list. And the VA should grant you service connection, which is great. It eliminates the need for a nexus. You do not need to prove that your condition manifested during your time or as a result of, or somehow there was an in-service of whatever. You don't need to prove any of that. It's simply, I served in one of these locations, here's my proof, and I have this condition. You still need to provide the VA with a diagnosis, right? You still need to prove you have the condition, but you don't need to prove that it manifested during your time in service. This is huge. So just wanted to share that with you. You still have this list of presumptives that are introduced through the PACT Act, and you could file for those at any time. So if you think that you're going to need to file something, put in an intent to file and preserve your date now for an effective date in the event that you file a future claim. Thanks so much for watching. I appreciate you. And remember, if we don't take care of each other, something went wrong.